Hey, what's up guys? So I've been doing some prep testing for BT21 and I've been trying out a really unique list called I like to coin as Hero Slop, which is just the hero cards kind of slammed together in a way that makes the most sense. There's a lot of hero cards that you could look at and try to play with. Obviously you can't just type it in here unfortunately, but like the Marcus, not Takuya, Takato, and is there some, oh yes, the new Appmon Tamer is another one that we're missing currently from this list. We're missing a lot of their Digimon as well. I just really like the ones that I currently have. I think they have the most synergy together. Obviously, like, there's some anti-synergy. Oh, Davis as well. There's obviously some like anti-synergy. Just because like the Taiki really wants a lot of Crossheart because these only give Rush to Crossheart instead of also just giving Rush to Hero, which is super sad. If they give Rush to Hero too, it'd be crazy. For some reason, the Arrestor Digimon doesn't have Crossheart in its name, although I know why it doesn't have Crossheart because it's not a Crossheart Digimon. It really feels like it should have Rush like the old Arrestor Digimon. The new Superior mode also suffers from not having the ability to like Rush the turn it comes out, which is really sad. It also has anti-synergy with Taiki because Taiki's effect and its when Digivolving effect trigger at the same time, so it actually prevents a lot of really interesting stuff from happening there, so you can't like swing because it has to resolve the pending effect first, which is super sad, whereas the old Arrestor Digimon Superior mode would actually trigger if it had the hero tag. We're also playing an Ukomon package. I was playing the one of Memory Gain Uko, but I honestly kind of want my heroes in Raising a lot of the time, surprisingly enough. I'm also playing the hero eggs because these guys all digivolve on digivolve for 1 on anything that isn't specifically their archetype trait, so their Guris, their Crosshearts, their Saves, or something with hero trait. So we're supposed to play the Gurimon, which also has anti-synergy with the Ukos because it doesn't let them draw a card. It only does it if it has Gamamon or Hero and trait for draw 1. The other option was the Koromon, which is whenever your yellow, when any of your yellow or red teamers suspend draw 1, which is also kind of hard to do whenever you have Ukomons out because it requires you to either Digivolve for the Tagaru, get something underneath with the Hero, or get something out with the Taiki. And all of those are kind of difficult to do. So we're only playing it at 1. But because we are playing an Ukomon package and because we're like a very like low to the ground aggro deck, we are playing an extra 5th egg anyways. It's not bad because at any point we get Ukos on there, we're probably not getting a draw from the egg anyways. And obviously since we're playing a small Uko package, we're also getting a Luigi because it's kind of convenient. So let's start off with the rookies. So we're playing 4 Ukos just for like a little bit extra search consistency. A problem that I found in the deck so far is that it kind of runs out of gas really quickly. It has once you're like set up, you have like no problems with memory whatsoever. It's just that you run out of cards really quickly. We're running 3 of Gamamon. There's a couple of the rookies in the set that do like the same thing, where they digivolve for reduced cost if you have X amount of tamers, or if you have like X amount of like security, basically. I went with the Gamamon because I think the Sirius is probably the best of them, but you know, there's an argument that maybe not. Maybe something else is a little better. I could play Trainings in this list as well, I just thought of it. Maybe. We'll think on it. Playing 4 Shoutmon. This one is really convenient. It gives you a unique inherit that you kind of want extra copies of because it lets your Omni Shout and Shoutmon King swing the turn of, which is really nice. We've got 4 Gumdra, which is just a on-play trash 1, draw 2. Which is really good. All of these guys will have plus 2k to their inheritance, by the way, except for the Shoutmon and Omni Shout. They give Rush to Crossheart. I did forget to mention as well, this guy, whenever he would Digivolve into Crossheart or Hero Trait Digimon, reduced the Digivolution cost by 1, which is really nice. Onto the champions, we're playing 4 Goonie. When Digivolving, you can place 1 hybrid or hero trait from your hand or trash as Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, or underneath any of your red tamers with inherited effects. So it can place underneath Takuya, or it can place underneath itself. You're usually placing underneath itself because that also triggers your hero, which is really nice. And then when attacking, you may Digivolve into a red hybrid or hero trait Digimon card in hand with the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. The one that you'll usually be Digivolving into by using this effect is the Omni Shout, because you get the end of attack effect and on deletion, which are both really good. You very rarely would ever go into superior mode, just because of the fact that superior mode, you'd only go into superior mode if you want like raid, I guess, because again, the wind digivolving effect would not activate, and you're just like missing out on a free swing. So if you're doing this, you're probably just gonna swing, let the check go through, and then digivolve to get the extra check. We're playing 3 of the king version, just raid piercing on a body, and then on deletion you can save itself and 1 card from your trash or hand with a hero trait or a crossheart trait underneath one of your tamers. We're playing 2 Dogachmon, rush and a raid. When this Digimon gets linked, it may attack. We're never going to be using the link effect 99% of the time. There's I guess a world where you can link a Dogach with your other second Dogach. But the reason that we're playing the Dogachs right now is because they are just like a free rush, similar to the Shotman King version and the Omnishot, where they are a rush and swing immediately with the Shoutmon inherit or the Omnishot inherit plus a Taiki, because Taiki, whenever a Digimon is played or digivolved, it may swing immediately if it has the Crossheart hero trait. But Dogach has the rush on its body already, so any level 3 lets you do the play itself. So I'm trying a bit of a split right now. I'm not sure which one I like more. Obviously the upside is that I don't have to have like a specific inherit with the Dogach, but the downside is the fact that it doesn't have piercing, whereas this one does have piercing, meaning that it can get really large and beat over a lot of things. And then finally we're playing 4 Arrestor Digimon. On play when de-rolling, you may play 1 tamer card with the Hunter or Hero trait from your hand without playing the cost. On deletion, you may place 1 Digimon card with save in its text or hero trait from your trash or hand underneath your tamers, then save this card. You can also digicross it for -2 with 1 Digimon with the save in its card text. So there's a couple of like cool plays you can do. Unfortunately, you can't rush with it, which is devastating, like you can in the old Hunters deck. Trust me, like every time I like see it and I'm like, okay, I have a Arrestor Digimon, I can like try and swing for a game, and then I had to reread it and remind myself that I can't do that because I was a big Hunters player back in the day. So it feels really weird. Unfortunately, you can't really play the old Arrestor Digimon and superior mode in this deck, just because it's not able to go on top of things that don't have save. So it can only go on top of the Shouts and the Arrestors and the Gums, leaving your Goonies and stuff kind of limp. You're also not able to use like the superior modes on your like your Goonies or your Dogachs, which is really sad, honestly. Even though it is a really unique form of removal, and I'm tempted to do it. I just haven't tested the deck enough. There's definitely like a potential like reason of like, oh well, this would be really nice to do, but you can't get the cross effect with or digivolving effect with the Taiki on this Arrestor or this Arrestor, which is super unfortunate. And in fact, none of your other tamers synergize aside from the 4 Tagaru. So it's just really difficult. It's really difficult. You also have a hard time getting rush on this body in this list because your rookies in Hunters let you cheat them out for free by crossing them with another save card, whereas the rookies here don't let you do that. So the only thing that you could do would be digivolve it for 2 once they promote from the raising area to actually get that effect, which is kind of useless, unfortunately. The Arrestor Digimon Superior mode, though, is something that you could absolutely consider. It's got pros and cons. Because we're going to have so many different colors of tamers, we're going to have purple, red, and yellow available to us. It's 3 colors, plus a Louis, potentially. We can place up to a level 7 in the high roll-liest of situations, but typically it's going to be around a level 5 on average. You can try maybe playing some Davises if you want in this list. However, Davis isn't exactly useful here because it's start your main phase if your opponent has a memory or Digimon gain a memory by suspending this tamer and trashing the top stacked card of one of your armor form trait Digimon, draw 1 and gain 1. And it's a 4 cost, so it's really bad in this list because we're not playing any armor forms. And even if we were playing the 4 of Magna that has the hero trait, it's still super inconsistent because it only works with that card, whereas these ones at least work with the other hero trait cards a lot better. Anyways, on to the 5s. We've got 2 Omni Shouts. This card is also treated as Shoutmon for a Digicross. It has the same Russian inherit as the original Shoutmon. And then end of attack, you may play 1 card with Crossheart, Blue Flare, or hero trait card from your hand, with the play cost reduced by 5 if you did delete the Digimon, and then on deletion, save itself and 1 card with hero trait from your hand or trash. Then we've got a Rest Digimon Superior mode, Raid, Piercing. When Digivolving, you may attack. This Digimon may attack without suspending, and then this Digimon has all turns effect. Get 1,000 DP for each of its Digivolution cards. It's pretty big. It's gonna be around like 15 to 23,000 DP on average, from my experience. Just depends on how like good your stack was, which is really nice. It lets you beat over pretty much everything in the format. Even some Gallant X's you can get over, which is really convenient. And it's also got Raid Piercing, which is super good, and it's gonna be able to check twice because of that. Unfortunately, no Exec Pluses, but I mean, you're gonna be doing a lot of checks just consistently throughout the deck anyway, so it's not too bad. It's got some pros and it's got some cons. Obviously, it has like the weaker when Digivolving effect than the other Rest Digimon Superior mode, which is super sad. It gets really big, which is the only upside. And obviously the fact that it has the hero inherit, or a hero trait. I really wish they just printed the old Arrestramon with the hero trait. Unironically, I think that would be a better card in most scenarios. Though it would require us to change up the way the deck plays a little bit, but it's fine. On to level 6, we're playing 2 Valgace and 2 Siriusmon. Sirius is great for removing things like Hexablow that you typically have a hard time getting over, as well as it works really nicely with like a Gamamon that you just promoted up, go Digivolve for 4 into the Sirius, activate the Taiki, swing in for 2 checks, or swing in for a raid. So it can get rid of 3 guys in a single turn, because when Digivolving, one attacking is not once per turn. So, you know, you just go Gamma, Sirius, pop something by placing something in your sources, swing, you can raid into the biggest guy, which when you're doing that, you can also place any other source underneath to pop something else. So that's 2 pops of the lowest DP Digimon, and then you're going to be around, since you place 2 things underneath, you'll have plus 6,000 DP, so it'll be at 18k DP with raid. You obviously won't be piercing, which is super sad, but you know, if you don't have anything to raid into, that's 2 security checks right there, which is really nice. And then finally, we're playing a 1 of Omni X, just like as a finisher, and then sometimes like a body will stick and we can just Evo for 6, remove something, and kind of be annoying, which is cool. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get into some games. Hey, what's up, gamers? Alright, so here's a set against Imperial. We end up winning the coin toss, going first. Game 1's a little rough because I put on bricks. We do end up keeping this hand because I just kind of want to test without opening the Tamers. And since we have the Gumdramon for some hand fixing, it feels pretty good. Go ahead and increase the speed. So yeah, in this game our opponent bricks their game 1. But I think it does show really cool stuff that the deck can do, so I'm going to show it off anyways. We end up Evoing the back into the Shout, because I think it's one of the better ones to Evo on top of. And then we Gumdra for 3 to pass turn. Pitch the Dogacha, because it's, I think, really weak without a Taiki. We do end up drawing into 1, but it's okay still anyways, because we just want... Dogacha, I think, it's the weakest card of the deck. It's like a finisher. You kind of want to see it like at the end, or as like a way to like pass your turn for 6 and kind of just hit your opponent really hard. Our opponent Evos in the back for 2, and then they end up Evoing into a Pyldramon for 4. Their hand is rough. We go ahead and promote. We'll Digivolve for 1 using into the Arrestramon to play out a Taiki. And the reason we do the Taiki is because it actually has a really unique way of playing. So we Evolve first, so that way we have something to save the Gumdramon under if we end up dying in security, which is completely acceptable and fine. Then we're going to attack. No, we're not going to attack, my bad. We're going to actually Digivolve for 3, activate a Taiki to swing in with the Omni. End of attack, we had a pretty good chance of living, because it was a 10k body that was swinging in. Even if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. But because we lived, we do get out a Tagaru for free. Then we save it, and Arrestramon, and we had to save the Omni Shout here because it saved itself and then one other hero trait or crossheart card from hand or trash. Promote to get the double draw here. They hit a hero. And we're in a really good spot here as long as they don't Hexablow us. And then they Hexablow us and they get rid of our Tagaru, which is devastating. You know, I think this card is single-handedly like one of the worst cards this deck can face, because it really does hurt. a lot of what we can do. Start of our turn, we're going to go ahead and gain an extra memory and draw an extra card from the Taiki's effect. Digivolve for 1 in the back to Uko. And then we will promote with the Louis immediately, just to get like the extra searching going on now, because we really are desperate for finding things. We're going to end up taking the Takuya hatch, gain a memory there. Digivolve in the back for 0, and then I think we end up playing out the Arrestor by slotting another Arrestor Dramon Superior mode underneath for a play cost of 4 total. Play out the Takuya. You just get in 2 more checks, get out an extra Taiki. At this point, this amount of tamers doesn't really matter too much. We're going to gain an obscene amount of memory. Another Uko check, we'll get the Tagaru here. We don't need the other body because they're dead on board. We will go ahead and trigger the first Taiki. We're thinking about what we want to kind of put under. We choose to do the Omni Shot. We gain the memory off the Louis because we forgot to, and then we'll place underneath a Arrestor Dramon, the Taiki gaining another memory. Then Takuya triggers, we can go ahead and evolve for for a reduced cost of 4 into a Arrestor Dramon, which will immediately swing into security for 12, 14, 16 KTP. We would have rated if we had more sources than Hexablow, but also they're unsuspended, so there's a lot of different ways they could go down. But it's fine because we do end up having the serious mode. We end up getting memory from the hero, we swing in for 2 checks, and then we swing in for game. So, bit rough for the Imperial player on turn 2. Or, for them to be breaking like that. We do end up mulliganing our first hand. This one's completely fine. I think it's an acceptable hand. Our opponent puts to 3, and they hit both the Davis Can and an extra Searching Worm once. They're pretty set up next turn. My mentality is that they're going to just Searcher... they're going to Davis Can next turn and kind of pass, which would just put me back at 3. And while that is completely fine, we end up drawing for turn, drawing for Evo. From this position here, we had a couple of ways that we could kind of go about it. We could have gone just Tagaru for 4. We could also cross here for 4, play Tagaru out, and that's a play I did a lot in Hunters. It's a very aggressive play. The problem is that if I do that, I have nothing placed underneath the Tagaru next turn, so I have to kind of draw off the top, and that feels kind of bad. I end up taking the much greedier play, or one of the greedier plays that I could have done. So instead of doing the Arrestor or just playing out the Tamer for 4, putting my opponent for 1, we ended up putting them for 4 instead because we wanted to get the double Tamer out. And I said, surely nothing bad will happen. Unfortunately, if they do, because they don't have the Tamer, they can go Digivolve for 2, Digivolve for 2, go to 0, and then they can kind of keep turn. 3 and 4 didn't matter, which is nice. They will DNA into the Pale and then swing in. They forget to gain back the memory, and by they I mean me, because I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking fool. Double Serious in security sucks because it means that we don't have our Gamamons live anymore. And then they go Hex, which is, I mean, that's there's nothing better that could have happened for my Imperial player there. We're in such a bad spot now. We activate the Takuya to Digivolve for 0 and get out the Taiki, which is nice. But we literally can't swing. So we'll Digivolve for 2 here, draw, and then we have like an option of like just passing them to 3 or passing them to 1, or doing like a weird like shout play as well, and we end up just putting them to 3. So we can Evo after doing a Taiki the back. They will swing, do 2 checks, and they don't hit anything important in security, unfortunately. They do pass us to 3. We hit the Tagaru off the top. We will place underneath. Gain 1, draw 1. We will we could either play out or Digivolve in the back. If we play out, we see 1 card deeper, which could actually matter, but it's hard to say. I feel like it's pretty doomed unless I just find it off the top right now, and I don't end up finding it off the top. So now we have to choose between Digivolving in the front or in the back. I think we just choose in the front, yeah, because it doesn't matter too much. And then we just draw, yeah, Tamer. And unfortunately, that's one of the downsides of playing so many Tamers in the list, is that you can just kind of get flooded with Tamers, even though they're really good. Just not being able to find the right amount is kind of rough. So we do end up hitting another shout here, and then we have a way of either doing Gamma for 3, or doing this play that we mentioned prior, which will, because our hand is a lot more Digimon focused, I feel a lot more comfortable making that a Rescue Digimon play because it's a lot more aggressive and it feels nicer. Though we don't have a great level 4 to go into anymore, which is unfortunate. We put our opponent to 4, they play out the Searcher, then they get the Davis Ken out. We will promote, we're gonna put probably, okay, we put the Dogach underneath. That's actually kind of surprising to me. I thought we would have put one of the Arrestor Digimons, but it's fine. We will Digivolve for 3, swing over, and then from this position, get another check in, swing in, get the draw, hit the Davis Ken, and then we can do something kind of cool here. We're gonna put our opponent to 5. We're just gonna hard play the Dogach, activate the Taiki because that hero card was played. And since this has Rush, it just swings in for another check for put him to 1. Which, you know, they have a lot of memory, but they're also at 1 security left. So they have to play really, I think, weirdly. Like Hexablow is like really important to find here. Setting up like Ace is really important here. Obviously they'll have enough to memory to do everything as long as they have the cards, and they end up having the cards. So they will go ahead and DNA, strip all of our sources. I start swinging into security here. I forget that I have piercing. I do retcon that later. I think that Second Tamer is actually really nice. Because now, even if we get Hexablob, we at least have something to play with. So yeah, we retcon it, we go ahead and rewind it, and we say we pierce over. We could have removed this body as well, because we had a fighter mode in hand. With 5 memory left over, we could have just gone into the fighter mode for 4 bottom. I think we could have bottom decked just one of the guys. So we bottom decked the 10k, and we're pretty safe. We ended up playing around the ace, and I'm not sure that was because, like, subconsciously I kind of knew, like, oh, I don't have the ace in hand, I know that for a fact. Or if I just wanted to play around the ace anyways. They get another search in, and then I think they go for the, memory setter. So we can't unsuspend. We have to worry a little bit about ace, but honestly, I don't think we can afford to play around it. We're gonna go ahead and activate the Taiki, gain a memory, draw a card, and then this is a immediate fumble because we actually have lethal on board if our opponent doesn't have, ace. Because we go Digivolve for 2 on top of the Taiki, go to 1, activate the Aguni to place a card underneath, activate the hero to gain a memory, go back to 2 memory. Swing at the Aguni, if it lives, we can just go into the Arrestor and win the game from here. And if they don't live, we can Digivolve for 2 on top of the hero, and then Digivolve for 3 on top of the Aguni for the Arrestor hero mode, and then swing without suspending, getting in for game there anyways. But I don't see that line immediately, and instead I go into the Ukomon in the back, which ends up cutting us off that play completely, unfortunately. And we could have done that, by the way, without the Uko draw. All of that stuff that we could have done was completely without the Uko draw. So we get a memory there. And now I have to hope that this guy lives, and he's only at 9k in the check, which is statistically likely to live, but it's still like really bad because it could die in security. If it dies in security, we have no way to actually win the game anymore. Other than, no way to win the game anymore, I don't think. And we end up dying in security. And then I'm kind of like thinking like, well, fuck. We also didn't have a good, like, we could have evoed for 2 into the Omni Shout, but that doesn't do anything. It quite literally does nothing, unfortunately. The only thing that it could have done is if we had a Taiki. We go into the Omni Shout and then play out of Gotcha for game, but no. So now I have to think, I'm like, well, fuck, no. Now I'm like super upset because I'm like, wait, if I just didn't go into the Ukomon like an idiot, gain back that 1 memory, go here for 2, go to 0, Digivolve for 3, Digivolve, swing for game, but but yeah, that's the Hero Slop deck. I actually think it's surprisingly good. I'm not sure what the optimal build of it is yet. Like, I really want to play some of the older Restrogermons because I feel like they're really good, but it's hard to really say if the older Restrogermons are useful in the list because you really don't have that many different color tamers because everything's so red. Like, the only ones that are different are the Hero and Tiger being purple and Taiki being yellow, but we only play 2 of the Taiki, which is like, okay. You can also play some trainings in the list because everything is red. We're gonna hit on everything, if we just play like the physical, whatever the red one is, the red trainings, which has like some utility. Like obviously it fixes like a bit of like the draw problem. It gives us like a lower to the ground plays that we can make early on, and they may just be better than Ukos in that sense. And if we do that, we actually have ways to get into a Rashomon superior mode and keep turn a lot easier, which would allow us to play around with maybe more 6s in the list. I'm not sure. It feels like an amazing aggro deck though. It feels like a very like low to the ground aggro deck that has like just like a big beefy way of removing most bodies and trying to cheat out a bunch of tamers, which feels fine. Feels good. But thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night.